All right, IM2 classes. Today we are talking about radicals, which are square roots and rational exponents. That means fractional exponents. So we're going to be looking at square roots and then exponents that are fractions. Tons of fun. So let's get right into it. So we have rational exponents, like I just said, also known as fractional exponents. This is what it's going to look like in radical form, is what we would call it, because that's the square root form, or the root, or the fractional exponent form. And then we are going to work on converting it into radical form. All right. I like to say that fractional exponents are like trees. The root is on the top, the power is on the top. So the power, we rewrite it, it's here. So the power is on top of the fraction, and then the root is on the bottom. So the bottom of the fraction becomes the root. You put the number in the little nook of the root symbol there. So let's do some examples of rewriting these as fractional or rational as roots. There we go. Having a hard time this morning thinking things through. That's okay. So 1/2. So remember, power is on the top, the root is on the bottom, like a tree. I didn't really explain that metaphor like a tree. Trees have roots on the bottom, right? So the fractional exponent is like a tree where the root is on the bottom. Explain that here. So the first one, the square root, we're going to change it. So put the x in the root, and then we just need to label these things here. The power is on the top, so it's going to be x to the first. And then it's the square root. It's a 2 in the nook. Here's the thing about square root, though, or with the power, you don't need the 1 there, right? So x to the first is just x. And then for roots, if there's when it's a square root, you don't need to put the 1 there. So this would actually be the most simplified answer. If you roll it out like this on a test, I'm not going to count it wrong. That's fine. So x to 1/3. So again, I'm going to put the x in a root underneath the root symbol. The power is on the top, so it's going to be the first power, and the root. This one does need the 3 there. Again, with that invisible math, we don't actually need the 1 right there, so I'm going to take it out. So that's just the cubed root of x. And then this one here, same idea. Power's on the top, so it's the first power again. Root is on the bottom. It's the 4th root. That's it for rewriting those. Again, we don't need the 1 there. So next, rewrite in radical form. So this one, we actually have something other than 1 on the top, which is nice. Power is on the top, so it's going to be x to the 4th power underneath the root, and then the root is on the bottom, so it's the 5th root. That 5 goes in the nook of the power there. And that is it. Power's on the top, root is on the bottom. Next one here, so we have a little bit bigger thing. So what I'm going to do is just put that 3n in parentheses like that. Power is on the top, so the 7 is the power here. Root is on the bottom. 2 goes in the nook. Again, because that's a square root, we don't actually need the 2 in the root. So I'm going to leave it off. Again, if you put it there, would not be wrong. That'd be fine. All right. 7. So again, put my root symbol here. I'm going to put the 7z in parentheses. Power is on the top. So 4 is the power. Root is on the bottom. Done. So here we're going to rewrite in exponential form. So I'm going to write a fractional exponent. So power is on the top, so it's the 5th power, goes on the top. The root is on the bottom. Again, most common mistake people will make here is put a 1. If there's no number in the nook of the root, this is a square root. There's an actual 2 here. Some of that invisible, what the heck? The invisible math. There is a There we go. There is a square root there. There's a 2. So it's a 2 there. So when there's no number in the nook, in visible math, it's a 2. Right. This one here, y power. So the power is on the top, some invisible math. If there's no number in the exponent here, that means it's the first power. So power is on the top and root is on the bottom. This one here, I'm going to put everything like this. Power is on the top. So the power, the 3 goes on the top of the fraction, the root. Again, no number in here. The little invisible math, there's a 2 there. That is a square root, second root. This one, put the 4x in parentheses. Fractional exponent, power is on the top. So the 3 goes on top. The root is on the bottom. There we go. Evaluate. So these might be helpful to think about what we're going to do. Think of it as root. So this is I'm going to rewrite it. You don't necessarily have to. So it's going to be the 4th root of 625 to the first power. That one's easy. 625 to the first is just 625. 4th root is 625. You need to work that on a calculator. That's fine, but that is going to be 5. 4th root of 625. Square 81 to the 3/2 power. So here, I'm going to rewrite it. So 81, power is on the top, root is on the bottom. It doesn't actually matter which one you do first, if you do the power or the root. Sometimes it's going to be easier to do the power. Sometimes it's going to be easier to do the root. This one's going to be easier to do the root first because 81 to the 3rd power is a big number. I don't know. But I do know I can write it like this. I can do 81 square root of 81 or second root of 81 to the 3rd power if you prefer. Square root of 81 is 9. And then 9 cubed is 729. So you can do a calculator to help you out with that. But yeah, that's sometimes it's going to be easier to do the root first. Sometimes it won't make a difference. Usually you're probably going to want to do the root first, so you're not dealing with some huge numbers. But if you're using a calculator, I guess it doesn't really matter either way. So 16 to the 5/4. So this one, again, 16 to the 5th power is going to be tough. So I'm going to do the 4th root of 16 first, and then I'm going to take the 5th power. 4th root of 16, that's 2. So the 5th power is 32. That's all there is to it. In class, I'll actually show you how to do the fractional exponent. Put that as a fractional exponent in the calculator. So this one here, again, it's going to be easier to do the root. So it's 64 squared to the 3rd root. I'm going to do the root first. So cube root is 64. And then we're going to square that. Cube root of 64 is 4. Squared is 16. And that will do it for today. We will see everybody next time.